All right, let's go through some nice stretches to feel better after travel or while you're traveling. We're gonna do these together. You can absolutely feel free to just hit pause and do a couple of extra. I also really invite you into the space of grabbing a lacrosse ball or a foam roller if you have access to these things, but they are not included in here because this is the assumption of you, your body, and you. And let's go ahead and stretch. All right, so our first thing is we're gonna go down for an inchworm. We're gonna go for 2 of these. So let's get feet a little wider than hips distance apart and get into a nice forward fold. Just taking a sec here to just breathe and allow everything to release. All right, when you're ready, let's go ahead and walk it down into a plank position. Let's drop knees, then hips, then chest. Exhale, chest up. And let's go ahead and curl toes under and walk yourself right back up, keeping your legs long as you can. All right, we're gonna come back down into our next one, but we're not gonna come back up. So, got a nice forward fold here, walking it down. Knees, hips, chest. Exhale, chest up. One more big breath in. One more slow breath out. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and curl toes under and push ears between elbows, but we're not walking it back up. So ears between elbows. Go ahead and push those heels down to the ground. And we're gonna come right back into that nice little low back compression. And we've got 2 more just like that. So curling toes under, pushing it back and up, getting nice and through, and coming right back down. These are called dynamic dogs, which I just think is hilarious and adorable. All right, last one, pushing it up. Getting head all the way through, heels down, and let's drop knees to the ground. Readjust hands so that they're right underneath our shoulders. Bring that belly button in towards the spine, and we're gonna go for 12 bird dogs. So right hand forward, left heel back. We wanna be right up to parallel to the ground, and bringing that back down. That was 1, let's go to 12. And 2, squeezing butt up. 3, 4, be careful to make sure those toes are facing the ground. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, keep those ribs tucked in, belly button to your spine. 10, 11, and we got 1 more. And that's 12. We're staying in this face down position. We're gonna do what's called over the fence, but it's gonna feel weird because we are face down. So go ahead and bring your knee to your chest and then draw a big circle with that knee. Let's go for 3 of those. That was 1, this is 2. And 3, flip it and reverse it. Let's go the opposite direction. Big circle, 1, and 2, and 3. All right, switching it to the other side. And big open for 1, 2, 3. Reverse for 1, 2, and this is 3. All right, staying in that hands and knees position just a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and tuck tailbone under, bringing our belly button in tight and bringing our chin to our chest, rounding the back. And go ahead and exhale, creating as much space between your chin and tailbone as you can. Let's go for 2 more of those. Big round. Bringing it back through. We got 1 more after this. Big open, big round. This is kind of closed. And space between that chin and tailbone. All right, amazing job. Let's come down for a 90-90 stretch. We're gonna do a little bit of priming before we actually get into the stretch. So I've got this matting because the floor is super not soft. I guess I should have said at the beginning, soft is nice. If you got a yoga mat though, that works great. All right, so we've got a nice 90-degree angle in our front shin, back thigh, and hip joint. Go ahead and hands in front. Let's bring our back heel up. Hold 2, 3, and down. We're going 2 more. Up, 2, 3, and down, and up, 2, 3, and down. All right, we're gonna bring that front shin up for 1, 2, and down. If this doesn't get very far off the ground, freaking do not worry about it. It's a thought that counts. And bringing that up, 2, 3, and down. We got 1 more, and up, 2, 3, and down. All right, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Get that 90-90-90 going. And we're starting with that back heel, bringing it up for 2, 3, and down. Up for 2, 3, and down. 1 more, 2, 3, and down. All right, bringing that front shin up for 2, 3, and down. 2 more, up for 2, 3, and down. Up for 2, 3, and down. All right, let's go back to our first side and jump into that 90-90 stretch. Big breath in through your nose. Slow exhale out through your mouth. Let's just keep that breathing going in through the nose. Slow the exhale. And we're going to be here for another 3, 2, 1. Don't move out of it quite yet. We're going to move our chest so that it's over our foot and ankle. Push our elbow down into our knee and pull your chest down towards that foot. If you don't want to grab your foot, absolutely no worries. You can grab your ankle. I just find it to be a little bit more awkward. All right, so pull and chest down towards that foot. For another 3, 1 more slow breath out into this nice deep hip opener, 2 and 1. All right, let's go ahead and switch it up. Same thing on this other side, chest is just coming down right in the middle. Big inhale through the nose, slow exhale through the mouth. And we're staying here for another 3, 2, and 1. Predictably, we're staying in this position. Go ahead and readjust so the chest is over your ankle and foot. Grab that foot and pull yourself down towards it. Good, nice slow exhales for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, beautiful. Go ahead and come up and out of that. I'm gonna grab a thicker pad because I'm old and my knees don't like anything hard. If you have a pillow or any way to pad, even wrapping up a sweatshirt can be a really good way to pad that knee. So either way, we've got a place for our knee. And we're gonna bring our other foot forward at about a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna turn to the side so that this is a little bit more obvious. So from here, we're gonna tuck tailbone under, squeezing butt in, and then kind of lean it back, shift our weight forwards. We should feel it really intensely in this front hip flexor. If you're thinking, I thought my hip flexors were more flexible than this, it's because we haven't released all the way down. So we're actually kind of up in a different part of our hip right now. So let's just allow this to be hella tight, and when we release down, it'll feel like we have a lot more range of motion. All right, one more slow breath into that. 2, 1, and coming all the way down, one hand on either side of that foot. Getting a nice ankle stretch here, keeping our heel on the ground, but just barely. And we're gonna get into a dynamic stretch here. So go ahead and push that heel into the ground, hips stay high. Straighten your front knee, but relax that front foot. One hand on either side, just pulling our hips back behind us. Slow exhale for 2, 1. Both hands on the inside, we're gonna walk it forwards. Now our hips are all the way forwards and our knee is kind of driving out to the side. And on your next exhale, we're gonna go ahead and push it back for another forward fold, getting into those hamstrings again. Don't worry about that front foot. We're not grabbing the toe or pulling it back or anything like that. We're just pulling the hips back behind us and straightening that knee. And let's go ahead and come down one more time, all the way down to that full range of motion of our hips. Plant our outside hand, inside hand, drag knuckles right behind that front wrist, reaching through as much as we can, getting a nice little groin stretch here. And coming up big, exhale and reach for 2, 1, and for good measure, let's go ahead and push it all the way back one more time for 3, 2, 1, and coming up, we're gonna do that whole dang thing on the other side. So let's bring that foot forward, tucking this tailbone under and shifting it forwards. Big breath in, slow breath out here. All right, and as we exhale here, let's bring this knee forward, one hand on either side of that foot, just fighting to keep our heel down on the ground. And if it feels easy to keep this heel on the ground, go ahead and slide that back so that it's a bigger, better ankle stretch and calf stretch. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and put some pressure on that heel, push it back, relax your front foot and straighten your front knee. Pulling hips back behind us for 3, 2, and 1. Both hands on the inside and go ahead and walk it down. Getting all the way down into our hips here. And pushing it back. Straighten that front knee, pulling hips back behind us a little deeper each time we do this. All right, when you're ready, walking it back down, all the way through. All right, plant that outer hand, take your inner hand, drag knuckles, big reach, reaching all the way through, and exhale, fingers to the sky. For 2, 1, bringing it back down and forward fold one more time. I just love these, especially when we travel. Like all forms of travel have just so much sitting. I suppose unless you are walking across or hiking, in which case it's unlikely that you are watching this. But things like airports and car travel really have our hips closed a lot. And so doing a nice big hip opener is worth the time. All right, let's go ahead and get up off the ground and find our feet. We're gonna get back to those over the fences that we did while we were face down. They'll make a little bit more sense now that we're standing, but we're kind of easing into these hip openers. So I go hands on hips because, I don't know, I guess that's the only way I can really think of it, and it keeps our hips square forward. So let's bring knee up and over that invisible fence. Let's go for 3 in this direction. Knee up, all the way around. If you're getting some pops and squeaks, don't worry about it. All right, so let's go in the opposite direction. Knee out first, bringing it back into the internal plane. All right, and let's switch it up. Other side, bringing it up and over. All right, reverse it. Beautiful. All right, make sure you're not gonna kick anything backwards or forwards. We're gonna go for toy soldiers. I'm gonna turn it to the side so it's a little more obvious. We're gonna go big open with our chest and hips. Kick that opposite foot. We're going 3 of these on each side. So that was 1. Big open, big close, 2. Big open, big close, 3. Try not to fall over. All right, and big open, big close other side. That's 1, 2, and 3. All right, you're doing great. We're almost there. We're gonna get to this upper shoulder girdle in just a sec. But first, let's go for 3 toe grab squats. So we're gonna go feet in squat position. If you're not sure where that is, let's go a little wider than hips distance apart, toes vaguely out. All right, we're gonna grab toes in this forward fold, pull yourself all the way down, trying to keep those heels on the ground. Let's push out, our elbows against the insides of our knees, then hands forward and stand. All right, let's try 2 more of those, pulling all the way down, pushing out, hands forward and stand. 1 more. Pushing out, hands forward and stand. All right, beautiful job. Shake out those feet. I'm gonna go into some Brugers. So we've got hands forward, pulling our fingers back so that we're making as much of a 90-degree angle as we can in those wrists. Now let's go ahead and really slow, pulling those fingers apart as much as we can. Get fingertips towards the ground and big open, reaching back as much as we can. And forwards. All right, we're going 2 more of those. Slowly fingertips down. Big reach, big open. And we got 1 more. Fingertips down, big reach, big open. Reach, 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 and back to forward. All right, great. We're going for some neck circles now. So we're gonna go, because it's very unlikely that you can watch a video with your head facing forward while you make your head in a circle, let's just walk through this really quick. We're gonna go chin to chest, cheek to shoulder, cheek over our shoulder, back of our head to the top of our back, looking over our opposite shoulder, cheek to shoulder, chin to chest. It's not rocket science, but it is really nice to be able to close your eyes here. We're gonna go 2 of these and then we're gonna kick it up a notch for our 3rd. All right, get ready. So, get those shoulders down, shoulder blades in your back pockets, and chin to chest. Cheek to shoulder. Looking over that shoulder. Top of your head to your traps. Roll into the other side, looking over our shoulder. Cheek to shoulder. Back down. Take a sec to push your shoulders down. And relax hands and arms. We're going the opposite direction, cheek to shoulder. Looking over that shoulder. Rolling it back. Looking over opposite shoulder, cheek to shoulder and down. All right, let's do that 1 more time. Relaxing shoulder blades back and down, cheek to shoulder, over that shoulder, rolling it back, over opposite shoulder, cheek to shoulder and down. Reverse it, cheek to shoulder, looking over, rolling it back, and back down the opposite side. All right, so if that felt like enough, stay there. If you want to kick it up a notch, we're going to grab our own forearms behind our back and then do that exact same thing for our last one of these neck circles. So if we are grabbing our forearms, make sure that our shoulders are relaxed and down, chin to chest, cheek to shoulder, looking over that shoulder, rolling it back, looking over our opposite shoulder, bringing it down. All right, last one, and reverse that course, cheek to shoulder, looking over our shoulder, rolling it back, looking over opposite shoulder, and back to chin to chest. All right, great job, great job. We are almost there. All right, last stretch of this session. Again, I really invite you to grab a ball, lacrosse ball, or a foam roller to continue this, get some nice release work now that you're a little bit warm and a little bit moving. But for now, we're gonna return ourselves right back down to the ground. Find your back all the way flat against the ground, nice and relaxed. All right, bringing these knees up at a 90-degree angle, squeezing them together. Then go ahead and take your right hand to the outside of your left knee and drop them all the way over, holding them down and together against the ground. Now fingertips to the sky, exhale, big open, chest open. We're prioritizing holding those knees together against the ground, and every exhale gets your knuckles down to the ground a little bit more. Listen to your breath here. As you exhale, you should feel your body react to that exhale, and respond might be a less hyperbolic word, and release and relax into this stretch. We're going to stay here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring those knees together, up, and same thing, left hand to the outside of your right knee, dropping it all the way over, fingertips to the sky, and open. It's totally normal if one side is feeling more sore, tight, or responding less well. Just breathe into that tightness. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, amazing job today. I hope that you're feeling better and a little bit refreshed from moving around. Hope you're having an incredible trip, and hope you enjoy.